So the other day I was in the car talking about the Every, and I started to talk about the engine that's in it. And I was talking about, how many cylinders it has and all that other stuff, and what other cars that engine came in, because Suzuki used that engine in a lot of cars. And one of the cars I said was a Wagon R. And then I looked up to see if there was a Wagon R in the car park that I was in, because they are very common, and then this happened. Is there a Wagon R in this car park? No. No. Ooh, look, Carib. Retronics Garage will like that one. I think that's an AE10. No, AE. Let's have a look at that actually. AE111. I don't know. Michael will know which one that is. AE101, AE111. It's got that fastback shape to it. Check that out. Sprinter. Oh yeah, beautiful. So yeah, just wanted to share that moment with you. Big shout out to Michael over at Retronics Garage. And now it's back to what I've been up to for the past couple of days. Please forgive the vertical video. I hate that. I don't know why it happened. I was filming with my phone, and in the excitement it just came out vertical. I can't promise it won't happen again because I'm not pro at making videos, but I'll do my best. Anyway, try and enjoy this. Oh shit. Look what just arrived. I need something to open that with. I'm going to do this with one hand. No. Impossible. Oh, Jesus. Come on. All right. That's the turbo drain. And it looks like it's going to have to be modified straight out of the packet. But what's unusual about that? The distance between here and here is quite large. I really wanted a compact unit, something as compact as possible. But I think if we just sort of cut it down to there, that will really change it. Let's see how it goes. Because it's got to go, oops. Because it's got to go into this. So this is only sort of on that angle, that deep. So we're sort of aiming for that, which means we're going to need we're not going to need, rather, as much of this thread, so we can just cut it down, I guess. So this took 2 weeks to get here, so I don't really want to destroy it. Alright, today we're going to look at making a new oil drain for the turbo in the K-Truck. This is a standard oil drain, and you can see that it comes out quite straight, and that is no good for me because the height difference between the turbo itself and the input into the engine, there's not a lot of downslope. It's almost level. It's not much more than that, to be honest. And this is the actual shape that I need to create, but using copper pipe isn't an option. You can see, if that's almost level, you can see the angle the turbo is on, and why I can't just use a flat piece. One side needs to be flat, and one side needs to be angled. Now, I bought this from eBay, and on eBay it looked smaller than it is. This is essentially what I need to make. By the time I drill and tap that, we're going to be over the edge. It's just not going to work. So I need another one of these, but slightly bigger. And then we'll use hose to create this. I've got a 90-degree bend here, and then there's a 45 that'll go on that one there over, and then back into the engine. Yeah. So I made a template out of this cardboard, and I just got to transfer it over onto the aluminium before I begin. Alright, the first thing I did is set up my drill press to be on this angle to drill the right hole. To match this, see, this is on the angle of that, so we're going to drill vertically through and create that angle, and later we'll come through, if we need to, and sand down this edge so that it's flat or level, if you want to say that. I needed to put the nail in here to stop it from trying to spin out of control. Now after I did that, I've started tapping it, and this is really difficult. The biggest drill bit I have is a 16 millimeter drill bit, and this is NPT half. Yeah, NPT half. So the drill bit's a little bit small, and this is just like taking its toll on my hand. I don't have a I've got blood coming out of there. I don't have a bench vise. Bench vise is supposed to go here, but I just haven't bought one. They're more expensive than what I want to pay, unfortunately. Maybe it's time I invested in one. After figuring out that I could mount it like this and use the tap on this angle, it became a lot easier. And now, as you can see, this threads in to an acceptable level, and what I'm going to do is mark that, how much sticks out, and then cut all that off, and hopefully it will still screw back in. So after fighting with this thing for, I don't know, a good few hours, I'm finally at a point where I've got it in, it's cut down, and that would be the standard gasket size, so it does actually fit. I'm a little worried about that edge. I don't like that so much, so I'm going to go slightly larger. I made that template earlier, and I'll trace around that template into this paint because I know the template fits, but that should work. I don't see why that wouldn't work. It should seal. I'm not gonna use the gasket, I don't think. I think I'll use copper seal. I've got some of that. Let me show. This is what I use to seal up the inside of the turbo. This stuff. This is really high temperature gasket maker. So I think I'll use some of this. It's by Permatex. Yeah, I think that's what I'll use. Either that, or I've got JB World Ultimate Black. But yeah, I think I'll run with the copper one because it's higher temperature rating. Yeah, this is where all of that was done. That took a lot of work, it really did, with the drill press set up on that angle like that. But yeah, I had a bucket fall over and water went everywhere. Dramas. I don't think I showed you this yet. I put a layer of paint on this, just a rough layer of grey on here to sort of help me see where the imperfections are, and there's a bunch of them, so that needs a lot more work. I know I keep saying this, but for those that don't watch my Instagram or Facebook, you won't know what this is. This is an amp rack surround that I'm working on. It goes there, in the back of the K-Truck. There's not enough room inside for amps, so it's being built for there. Now all I really need to do is put in some liquid thread sealer on that. It screws in quite tight. You have to use a what do you call it? Some people call it a crescent. I call it a shifter because I'm from Australia. I don't have a spanner that's big enough to get on that, so I use a shifter. But yeah, it's really tight in there, so some thread sealer should do it. And then I have to drill these holes out. Those holes are non-negotiable, have to get those done, but the outside shape of it should be fine with whatever shape I decide. So yeah, I would have liked to have brought you along for the journey while I made that, but it was just too difficult. Like, I don't have some kind of camera stand or anything that I can put the phone on. I've got this thing, but I guess I could screw that to, but I was planning on using this in the car maybe so that I could talk to you on the way to work or whatever, but don't know. I need to get some equipment. Apparently if I keep making YouTube videos I'm going to be a millionaire, so let's hope that happens and I can get some better equipment and stop filming with my phone. Yeah. This is a big help. If you don't have one of these, get one. Like if you have air in your garage and you don't have one of these, I highly recommend them. Although I'd probably shell out for a little bit of an expensive one. This one, the spring isn't so tight in here, which means the belt gets floppy, and it's kind of annoying. It stops and carries on. So don't get the cheapest one of those. Get one a little more expensive. And I was using my die grinder as always, because I always use, every project I do seems to use this. Yeah, it's just an Astro Products. This was cheap. I think this was $10, but I use it all the damn time. Naturally, I couldn't have done it without the tap. That was expensive, I believe. I don't recall how much I paid for it. I don't really want to recall how much I paid for it. But I've used that a bunch, and it like taps. I've got a whole bunch of taps. Like, what is that? That's 1/8 PT. I've got them all, like 1/4 PT. There's nothing worse than building something and then you go, oh, I want to put this on it, like screw something into it, and you can't because you don't have the tap, and then it gets to like, what time is it now? It's 10 to 8. I mean, I'm not going to be able to go to the store and buy a tap at this time of night. It's not too late to use hand tools, but if you don't have the tool at this time of night, well then you have to put your tools down. You can't continue, and that really annoys me. I like to get as much done as I can. I look forward to cutting that out tomorrow, and I'll make sure I get some footage at least of me cutting that out. I'll probably just use a jigsaw and cut out a rough shape, maybe tidy it up on the die grinder. I won't put this on the bench grinder because I don't like the fact that the aluminium gets stuck to the grinder wheel. It's really not good. It's really not good. Yeah, okay. Didn't make much progress today because I had a lot of work to do. But as you can see, I've got the holes drilled in here. Now like that. And I also had to grind down that edge. It used to be like that, sort of squarish, but now I had to grind it down to allow the bolts to go in. And on the other side as well. So it all fits nicely now. I'll just show you what it looks like. There it is with the rough angle that it will be on. As you can see, there's not much in that. There's a fraction of a millimeter on the left one, and not much on the right either, but as long as it clears, it's fine. It wouldn't matter if it was a millionth of a millimeter. As long as it clears, it doesn't touch, then yeah, we're good. So the next step will be to cut that into a shape that fits onto the turbo, and then we can move on to putting that in permanently with thread sealer. I'm going to use I'm debating whether to use the standard gasket or not. It does fit on there, obviously, because it's the same size, but it might leak. So I'm thinking I'm just going to use that copper silicone stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.